Welcome to the Dan Good Show, everyone. This monthly Games to Watch series highlights some of the awesome video game titles coming out each and every month. Don't forget to leave a comment in the video for which game you're looking forward to the most this month, even if it's a game I don't cover. And make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so you never miss an episode in this Games to Watch series. March is packed with new titles, so let's dive right in. Here's your Games to Watch.
Tell your friends, bring your family. After all, you can't spell museum without you and me.
The 2 Point series has always reminded me of the Roller Coaster Tycoon games from way back in the day. This time we're taking on museums. In 2 Point Museum, you'll build and design your very own museums, maintain a museum staff, keep your guests happy and entertained, and keep the cash flowing so you can move on to the next museum. There are 5 unique museums to unlock over the course of the game: prehistoric museum, an aquarium, a supernatural museum, as well as space and science museums. There are hundreds of exhibits and decorations to add across all 5 museums. You can customize everything to your heart's desire. When you're not managing the museum, you can send your team out on expeditions to bring in new artifacts. There's also nearly 20 unique guests that will be visiting your museums, including pesky kids that you need to keep off those exhibits. I cannot help but smile looking at the trailer for this game. It so reminds me of Tycoon games of old. Looks like so much fun.
Let me tell you this, get ready for a ride.
Split Fiction is the next title from Hazelight Studios, and this is high on my list this month. Hazelight is the co-op focused studio who you may know from It Takes Two, A Way Out, and Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. In Split Fiction, we'll play as Mio and Zoe, both writers focusing on very different genres. One loves fantasy, one loves sci-fi. Both are hoping to have their writing published by Raider, a tech company that can literally bring their ideas to life. But when they accidentally join a simulation together, they discover that Raider is hell-bent on taking their stories for their own. Now Mio and Zoe have to work together to escape the simulation that their own writing created. If you've never played a Hazelight game, they always require co-op, which I commend them for. There are not enough co-op games to play with your friends and family, and I love that this studio puts their foot down and says co-op required. What's even more commendable from them, on top of requiring co-op, is they only require you to own 1 copy of the game. Of course, that makes sense if you're doing couch co-op with a partner, but this also includes online co-op. Only one of you has to own this game, and you can play on 2 different consoles in 2 different places. I do not think Hazelight gets enough flowers for this. I do not think people know about this enough. You should absolutely try their games. Every level is going to have a ton of variety, whether you're playing as Mio and Zoe, just like in It Takes Two. You'll see each character pull inspiration from their fantasy or sci-fi backgrounds, and the abilities that they have in the levels are not only unique to each character, but those abilities change every single level. It really keeps things fresh. You never know what's happening next. It Takes Two won Game of the Year in 2021, so whether you played it or not, look out for this title to make a splash.
This is good for me. I need to enjoy this. I feel good. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy.
I don't know if I've ever heard of a dark, cozy game before, but we're about to find out together. Wanderstop is a tea shop management game from the creator of the Stanley Parable. The story follows Alta, a retired tournament fighter who now works at the tea shop. You'll tend to the tea shop's gardens, serve customers, and brew tea with an insane contraption. You'll learn your customers' likes, their dislikes, their personal stories, and ultimately brew the perfect cup. When you're done serving tea, you'll help the shop owner out with any odds and ends. I love how open the director of this game is in dealing with his own feelings of burnout and craving a relaxing experience, but being afraid of it. That's kind of what this game is about. You kind of get the sense that Alta doesn't really want to be in this cozy town working at this tea shop. She's a tournament fighter, but she's retired, and we have to learn why. I just really love the idea of emphasizing the difficulty of relaxing in this cozy world. I'm very much looking forward to it.
New LA was our beautiful lie to ourselves. Truth is, we were adrift, heading into the unknown.
Xenoblade Chronicles X takes place in 2054 after Earth is wiped out by warring alien races. What remains of humanity flees on the USS White Whale, which crash lands on an untamed planet called Mira. As a member of Blade, it's our job to help preserve what's left of humanity and survive in this new world. As you level up, you also gain access to these massive mechs called Skells, and I think this is what separates Xenoblade Chronicles X from the rest of the series. Skells not only allow you to take on bigger, badder monsters, but they also help you discover different parts of the world that aren't accessible to you on foot. This title was originally a Wii U release. The Definitive Edition is now available on the Switch. The Definitive Edition comes with tons of improvements. There's better resolution, they've made changes to the UI, you can change party members at any time, and critically for RPG fans, any party member that's not active on your team is also gaining XP. This is a must for games like this. They've also improved guidance systems for both the main and side quests, and they've made changes to the leveling system to make it more accessible. I'm a huge fan of the Xenoblade Chronicle games, but I got this originally on the Wii U and I really struggled with the performance for the title. I'm really hoping these changes step it up and make it more accessible for people.
Who are you? Who do you serve?
The Assassin's Creed series is finally in feudal Japan. In Assassin's Creed Shadows, we get to live out our shinobi and samurai dreams. The world map is going to be comparable to Assassin's Creed Origins, and the gameplay is going to continue to follow this kind of action-adventure RPG feel that we've had for the latest titles, minus Mirage. We can switch at will at any point in this game between the two characters. Naoe is our shinobi who's seeking revenge for her father's death. Yasuke is our samurai who's in service to the local daimyo. Naoe focuses on stealth and agility, while Yasuke focuses more on strength and precision. But their differences don't stop there in the gameplay. Your parkour abilities will change depending on if you're playing as Naoe or Yasuke. For example, Naoe has a grappling hook that Yasuke cannot use. He's simply too big and heavy. I've even seen very funny clips from trailers of Yasuke attempting to do the eagle dive and crash landing. Naoe and Yasuke both have their own weapon types as well, with their own skill trees and apparently their own romance choices as well. Stealth has been majorly upgraded in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Naoe can play with the light and the shadows in this game in a way that we've never been able to do in the Assassin's Creed franchise. You can manipulate light from torches, from fires, from lanterns to create shadows, and even use the moon's light to your advantage. A lot of older Assassin's Creed fans have really been craving more stealth in these games, and Naoe's going to give you that ability. I also love the weather system that they're implementing in this. As you progress through the campaign, the seasons change, and those seasonal changes bring environmental advantages and disadvantages to our gameplay. Plants will bloom in the spring and summer, providing new hiding spots for us that wouldn't be there in the fall and winter seasons. And during the winter, water freezes over, which cuts off certain access points for us. But we also have new tools at our disposal with icicles. You always hear about dynamic weather systems, and I love them, but that's more of like a day-to-day thing. I love that we have a feeling of time progressing as the seasons change throughout the story and having to deal with those environmental consequences. The settlement system is also back and looks to be extremely customizable. There's whole grid system where you can manipulate buildings. We don't have a ton of details yet, but I love this system. Going all the way back to Ezio's family home, and more recently in Valhalla too. I think this is a really great system to have in these games. Fans have been begging for this setting for so long. I'm so excited for this one. Cannot wait. In Killing Floor 3, you join a rebellion group called Nightfall. Nightfall is fighting against an endless army of nasty-looking monsters called Zeds, who were created by an evil megacorp in the year 2091. The Killing Floor series is all about surviving as long as you can against endless waves of these monsters. It reminds me very much of the Left 4 Dead series, and this one has 6-player co-op, which is awesome. There's tons of new additions in Killing Floor 3. There's new specialists, there's a full mod system, there's improvements to movement, there's new traps, there's new Zeds. Everything's new. Even the meat system, which I had to look up. This insane gore system has a 2.0. Thanks to the meat system, every attack that you do leaves lasting damage on the Zeds to really gruesome effect. Slashes, bullets, blasts, burns, all of it is on full display. If you need a new endless survival game to play with your buddies, Killing Floor 3 is here.
The situation in Cumberland is well in hand.
I have not heard anyone talking about this game, and the more I dive into it, this should be on everyone's radar. Atomfall is a brand new game that reminds me very much of the Metro series as well as Stalker. It's based off historical events and specifically focuses on the Windscale nuclear accident in northern England in the 1950s. Atomfall takes place 5 years after the Windscale incident, where now most of northern England has been turned into a quarantine zone. Our character wakes up with no memories and no awareness of his surroundings and has to discover what happened. There's definitely supernatural elements at play in terms of what went wrong with the wind scale incident. It's up to us to discover this mystery. Atomfall is a first-person action-adventure game with some survival elements as well. Combat is a mix of melee and ranged weapons. Ammo's scarce. It's all about scavenging your surroundings, crafting things, making makeshift weapons, finding upgrades for your weapons, and surviving as long as you can in the quarantine zone. Something that I'm really digging about this title is it seems like you're really free to choose your path as the hero or the villain. I can never be the villain, but I'm always happy the games give players choice. It also feels like there's a ton of enemy variety. In the various towns that you visit, they're controlled by the military. Find lots of men in uniform with the best gear. They also have these massive mechs, so you have to watch out. If you go into the countryside, the woods are full of cultists, full of bandits. You are not safe. As you explore bunkers and caves, you'll find these nasty creatures called ferals, who've clearly been impacted by the wind scale accident and are unrecognizable. The visuals in this game are gorgeous. Exploring northern England means beautiful countrysides, but this accident also has these stunning looking phenomena. The more you dig in, the more secrets you find, the more you learn about this world. I'm a huge fan of the Metro series. This seems very much up that alley. Very interested in this.
Khazan! So you survived after all, I see. That's disappointing.
The first Berserker, Khazan, is an action RPG based on Dungeon Fighter Online and takes place 800 years before the events of that game, following the story of the first Berserker. Khazan is a war hero. Falsely accused and banished to the mountains, he's on his deathbed. Players embark on a quest for vengeance and set out to uncover the truth about Khazan's betrayal. With this style of game, you can expect brutal, skill-focused combat, epic boss battles, plenty of challenge to be had. Khazan has a wide variety of weapons and armor at his disposal. Each weapon has its own unique style as well as skills. I'm really loving the art style for this game too. This is not a Souls-like, but I feel like there's been a resurgence in action games based off the popularity of the Souls games, which I think is really, really cool to see. People are clearly craving this kind of challenge, and I like that Khazan separates itself with this art style. If you were big on games like Black Myth Wukong last year, or if you're really looking forward to Ninja Gaiden 4, I think this is your game. That's your games to watch for the month of March. Thank you so much for watching The Dan Good Show. Don't forget to leave a comment down below for which game you're looking forward to the most this month, even if it's a game I didn't cover in the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode in this Games to Watch series, and we'll see you next month.